Today must be a very special day because for the very first time in what seems to be several months, somebody recommended a Protoss versus Protoss for me to go ahead and cast. This is the one matchup that nobody really ever recommends, so I'm excited to find out exactly what ended up going down between these two very strong Korean pro gamers. First off, in the top right-hand corner in game number 1 on the map Royal Blood. Playing here with the red Protoss probes, we have the best Protoss player from Korea, and his name is herO. His opponent, not too far behind with the blue Protoss pieces. We're looking at Creator's main Nexus. And honestly, lately I've been very impressed by Creator, so I'm hoping he can do well right here against herO. This particular series was played as part of the 3rd KSL Weekly, that is that new StarCraft 2 tournament. So, well, if you're watching this video on the day that it goes up, it was literally played like 3 hours ago, as of me casting this anyway. So by the time it's up on YouTube, probably closer to like 8 hours, but doesn't really matter all too much. This is a very recent series, and hopefully it'll give us a good update on the Protoss versus Protoss matchup so far. Honestly, I think it's probably a toss-up between ZVZ and PvP. As far as like my least casted matchup goes, and I would probably say PvP is the one matchup I cover the least often on my YouTube channel. And it's not because it's a bad matchup, it's just that usually if you've seen one, you've kind of seen the majority of them. Then again, the top games, right, the very best games of PvP are incredibly exciting. Back in the early days of StarCraft 2, I think Terran versus Terran, Zerg versus Zerg, and Protoss versus Protoss, they all got a bit of a bad rap. They weren't particularly exciting, especially Protoss versus Protoss. It used to be all about rock, paper, scissors, where the Twilight Council with the Blink opener, it countered Stargate openers, Stargate openers countered Robo openers, and then Robo openers countered Blink Stalker openers. And you couldn't really scout very well exactly what was going on, so oftentimes the rock, paper, scissors could be, yeah, game decisive. But, yeah, these days, obviously, these players are incredibly good. They can micro their way out of very tricky scenarios, and I think that's exactly what we're gonna see. So, very similar openers here so far, with both players going for the double gateway approach on top of the high ground. So this is very standard. Basically what you do is you leave a little bit of space, so you can plant down, for example, a shield battery or a pylon. That's exactly why this probe is hanging out over here as well, just to be as obnoxious as possible, now trapping that probe. But you also want to prevent, this time around it's for the probe, you know, to stay inside of the main base, but you also want to make sure that adepts do not manage to shade in. So Creator has decided to go, okay, double sentry right now, or sorry, double adept into double sentry. So he'll be trying to get aggressive here with those two adepts, but as soon as the Stalkers start roaming the map, and we're already going up to 4 here, we should be seeing herO in the driver's seat of the early game. Stargate opener here as well, on the back of it. So herO is going to be able to expand eventually, but not nearly as quickly. So what you want to do is hopefully get those adepts inside of your opponent's main base. A little bit of body blocking here, nicely done by Creator, trying to keep that adept alive, and it does stay alive. Very lovely work. So that's the small little move that you can make, right? Body blocking with your high HP adept to try and keep the low HP adept alive. Nicely done. But yeah, those probes are going to be hanging out here. Just to make sure, we're going triple sentry even, okay. Just to make sure that no units really get in. Okay, so sentry's not a particularly popular unit overall, but to rush them out in Protoss versus Protoss can be incredibly helpful because they can provide you all the scouting you really need. herO here has decided to go for a Stargate. So the Stargate is going to be fantastic at, well, figuring out what the opponent is going for. That's those two adepts from earlier. Well, I think that the one over here, unless it gets recalled, okay. Should be able to get out. Anyways, herO has decided to go for a Stargate opener, so he'll be able to fly into the opponent's main base quite easily. We should be able to see some hallucinated phoenixes and whatnot move across the map here momentarily too. There we go. So this is very helpful to figure out what is happening on the side of our red Protoss. Okay. Oracle going around the right side of the map. Adepts right now moving forward as well. Expansion is going to finish up momentarily, and herO is going to transition towards the Twilight Council. We have a bit of a standoff over here, where neither player really wants to engage. I mean, herO would like to fight, but the problem is that he can't really afford it with that shield battery present. Good block over there, very important. Maybe now, yeah, the Stalkers can start moving a little bit as well, since those adepts are ready to sacrifice themselves. Good force fields, very lovely force fields. Blink, of course, not done yet. Ooh, is he gonna be able to get the recall? Well, on 2 of the 3 Stalkers, not bad at all. Double Oracle now available, though. I was wondering where that second Oracle was gonna go, and apparently they decided to group up. How many workers will they get? Well, so far, a whole lot of nothing. Very nicely done. Blink is going to finish up as well momentarily, so yeah, these two units, they're not going to be able to get too much work done as this game progresses, since Blink is going to finish up in about, well, 30 to 45 seconds or so. Okay, so good situation right here for Creator for sure. He did end up losing a couple workers. Nothing amazing, of course, but yeah, he didn't lose here in the earlier stages of the game. And I guess that's kind of a theme in the Protoss versus Protoss, Terran versus Terran, but also in the Zerg versus Zerg matchup, since usually both players are making the same units at the same time. Okay, that is not worth. Since usually both players are going to be making the same units at the same time, usually the player that ends up with more units will be the one that wins, right? So the defender's advantage in this matchup is quite noticeable because of the battery, but oftentimes in the mirror matchups in particular, it's very easy to accidentally lose. Terran versus Terran, that can be quite obvious in particular, where, you know, if you don't have siege tanks out yet and you miss micro your first couple of, for example, the Hellion and then maybe the Reapers as well, you just, well, straight up lose the game. Anyways, this is apparently now the time, though. A Creator is feeling a little bit aggressive, and this is a lovely little move, providing high ground vision right there with that hallucinated Phoenix to allow those Stalkers to blink into the opponent's main base. Blink is going to finish up momentarily as well, but most of the gateways right now on herO's side are unpowered. At the same time, we do have a couple of Stalkers over here being annoying, but this is going to deal a whole lot of damage. He's going to have to rebuild those pylons before herO can really properly start warping in reinforcements. Apparently, though, with the Stalkers in red coming back home, he decides to tap out. And that is 12 probes going down in total. Apparently, there was a stasis ward over here as well, so Creator had to react at the same time. I didn't catch that on the camera, but at the very least, Creator did, and I guess that's the most important part. herO right now realizing, okay, I need a little bit of spice here, right? I mean, I'm certainly behind in a work account right now. He decides to pop down a Dark Shrine. Okay, we'll see what he decides to go for here. Creator going for the more conventional choice, following this up with a Robo facility, as we do have a couple hallucinated Stalkers here in the main army as well. I'm inclined to imagine that that is a mistake, but I don't think it is. If you go for the Sentry Opener like Creator did, you can obviously, well, get a lot of energy on those units as well, and maybe scare your opponent off a little bit, right? There's no detection right here for herO to really know whether or not those Stalkers are real or fake, so it can be quite helpful to figure out roughly what the opponent is going for, as herO now does commit to an attack, but honestly, there's a shield battery here. There's battery overcharge, of course, as well, since it's so close to a Nexus. Okay, well, that's an overextension, though, from Creator. Tries to get back right there to the safety of that battery. He's going to have to activate the overcharge as well. It needs to be... Okay, we're not going to do it. I guess with proper target firing, it doesn't really do all too much. Yeah. At some point when you have enough single target damage, right, it doesn't really do you too much to have the battery overcharge there. Most of the time at lower level play. I mean, I guess I see a lot of PvPs in like viewer submitted games and all that, right? But at lower level play, players won't be target firing nearly as well as herO does over here. So he does decide to blink forward once again, trying to target fire down those high HP units from Creator, trying to make sure that they all die in one singular hit. Now the battery overcharge gets activated after the energy runs out. Okay, Creator decides to chase. Honestly, a little bit overly aggressive. Sentries right now still around, so... yeah, the most important part here for Creator is that he's holding on, right? So at this point, we do have a Dark Shrine. He's going to follow this up with the Shadow Stride ability as well. Good blink over there. Does keep it alive just barely. The thing is, economically speaking, these traits are all really good for Creator, right? Although that being said, herO is winning this fight, it seems. The shield battery doesn't have energy anymore. He's going to start picking off those very expensive sentries one at a time. Nicely done. Okay, very lovely blink control here so far by the red Protoss player, else he does end up losing another one of those oracles. Third Nexus coming up for herO. But as we've already seen, the third Nexus has been up and running for a while here for Creator. And herO really needs to get something done here. He needs to like deal critical amounts of damage. Now, not all heroes wear capes, but these guys do. I can imagine that they are part of the plan right here for herO. There is a shield battery in the natural. There is, a photon cannon in the natural. There is also a photon cannon inside of the main base. Well, I guess my statement wasn't incorrect, because there also was a shield battery over there in the natural. Nicely done right there by the probes. Main base Dark Templar also gets the Knight. Stalkers at the same time are going to try and poke at the third. But Creator is defending 3 fights at once. Really lovely. And I don't think this is really... yeah, good target firing. I don't think this is really getting a whole lot of work done, though, for herO. He's trying his best to come back after... well, that shenanigans from earlier with Creator blinking into the main base, but now that there's an Immortal in the mix as well, this is going to be very difficult to break. Dark Shrine starts up as well for Creator. He's now going into the charge upgrade too, so yeah, he's ready to continue teching in another direction. Now, aggressive blink forward once again. He does need 2 targets right there on that one Immortal to take it down. Zealot here getting healed up as well. He's laughing in the face of danger as he single-handedly is destroying everything. At the same time, though, there is that one Prism in the main base. Okay, recall, blink. Do we not have a blink? Oh, no, it's on cooldown still from the other side of the map, I would imagine. Anyways, 7 probes end up going down. And even though herO has been trying his best to claw himself back into this game, trying to hit his opponent at multiple angles at once, excellent micro, very good target firing, he just ends up with not enough stuff, right? I mean, I can imagine, yeah, resources lost-wise, things are relatively even. And because of that, Creator, who's been mining a whole lot more over the last couple of minutes, he should just end up with a significantly better army. Now, he decided to invest a lot of his advantage into the forge upgrades, into, well, the, what is it called? The charge upgrade as well. He's gonna end up with more stuff here that's stronger. If it's up to herO, though, he wants to buy enough time. Now herO has got his own 3rd base up and running. If Creator wants to attack, he's gonna have to do so into a Protoss player that's nicely positioned close to a shield battery, right? Hopefully, at least. I don't think herO should be taking fights in the middle of the map, especially since a lot of those units are relatively low HP. Okay, a nice blink forward there once again, blinking one of them forward initially to try and get that high ground vision since the Observer was lacking behind. But in the end, herO realizes the scenario that he's in, and Creator ends up winning the game. Next up, we find ourselves on Neo Humanity. Both players have once again opted for the high ground pylon. Double gateway, I would imagine, on both sides as well. Yep. Makes a lot of sense. Players like, for example, MaxPax have really popularized the low ground wall. But it can be kind of tricky, and you have to make sure that you are, yeah, very confident in your early game. This is the more classical approach. This is the style that we've seen for many years. So you go for the double gateways, you go for the cyber core, of course, as soon as the first gateway is done, and then you can start pumping out a couple of units. There is certainly a lot of variety in the order in which you get your units. So, like we saw already in the previous game, we had, well, 4 Stalkers on the side of herO. We had 2 Adepts into triple Sentry from Creator. There's some variety there, and it usually dictates whoever will be more aggressive. But it's always difficult to decide exactly what to go for, right? Like, basically, all of the options seem viable. It just all comes down to unit control. Okay, so let's see. Cybercores are finishing up on both sides of the map. Double Stalker right here for herO. Double Adept once again for Creator. This is very much so a stylistic choice. So I would imagine that once again, we're going to see a faster expo here from Creator as well. And I wouldn't be surprised, well, this is almost a copy from the previous game. I wouldn't be surprised if once more herO is going to be the one putting down a tech structure. Is that the plan? Is that what we're going to do? Well, he wants to get rid of that probe first. Every probe kill counts, guys. Okay. Nah, this time around we are mixing it up a little bit. Double Sentry here on the back of it for both players, and herO, rather than going for tech, also decides to go for a Nexus that is basically identically timed. Okay, here come the Adepts. It's critical for herO to make sure that these units do not go into the main base. Now, good shading right there by Creator. I do believe that they are not scouted here, but this pylon, it is not positioned randomly. It should give the heads up if units do get a little bit close, and this should give them more than enough time to finish up that wall. There you go. That's the most common mistake that you have at lower level StarCraft 2, and with lower level StarCraft 2, I mean up to Grandmaster League. Not having that pylon down or that shield battery down in the correct timing, or at the correct timing, it basically is instantly GG. A couple of probes over here. Together with the sentries, tickling away wherever they can. Good movement here once again, though, by herO, who's going to recall those Stalkers eventually to make sure that he can get rid of those Adepts that are in his natural. Are we not going to cancel that? We are not going to cancel that. Okay, that was certainly a mistake. So now he's going to be forced to kill his own shield battery here. The kill of shame. Not the start that you're hoping for. Now the sentries. Okay, well, they could have been a little... Or sorry, these Adepts could have been... a little bit less obnoxious as they do get into the main base, but obviously there's quite a few units here available as well to get rid of them. Okay, 3 probes. Lovely work right here by Creator. One of the biggest changes they made to this particular matchup, years ago at this point, was change the amount of energy it takes for hallucination. I believe it was 100 energy in the past, I believe it's like 75 right now. It basically allows you to scout like 25 seconds earlier with an hallucinated Phoenix. And I remember that change, I was like, I was reading the patch notes, I was like, okay, that's not really a big deal, it was a bit of a strange one. But it really changed Protoss versus Protoss significantly, because it allowed you to go for a more macro-focused start. Creator once again sneaking a couple of adepts from the right side this time around, and it looks like they will get into the natural expansion unscouted. I could have sworn there was vision right there for our Protoss player in red, but things are starting to fall apart right here for herO. As now suddenly there's units everywhere, right? And not only is this a lot of lost mining time, he's also losing a ton of probes. At the same time, there's also a cheeky little pylon here on the left side of the map. We'll have to see what Creator decides to do with that one, as both players are going for the blink upgrade once again. Okay, so already 11 workers killed here by Creator. Keep in mind, herO is considered to be either like the best or the second best Protoss player on the planet, right? And you can see the little mistakes. It's like a house of cards. It comes down very quickly once one of them starts rolling. And yeah, it's very, very complex to actually stay alive in the early game of PvP. The margin for error is incredibly small. Anyways, Creator does see that this army is coming in once again. This is almost an all-in that he's forced. There's a couple hallucinated stalkers. They're going to be leading this charge. I love that. Creator is going to target fire them down first. There's the blink forward from herO. Battery overcharge activated though, and that is going to be very helpful because at least some of these units will require a second shot. Yep, and the probes pooled as well. It is going to force herO to back off for now. Okay, so we do have a Dark Shrine. A proxy to Dark Shrine right here from Creator. Building it on the left side of the map, so this hallucinated stalker in the main base, it's not gonna scout all too much. How much damage can herO really deal though? How many gateways do we have? We've only got 2 gateways right here for Creator, so he's not actually able to warp in that many reinforcements. 4th gateway right now coming up here as well for herO, who decides to go for a full-on all-in here. He's not really been adding on any workers here in quite some time. Additional gateways building here for Creator as well, but he is not really able to keep up with the production, and now suddenly herO is dealing a ton of counterattack damage. Dark Templar are going to be coming out very soon. We don't have a robo facility or anything along those lines right here for our player in red. Excuse me. I forgot to breathe there for a little bit. Breathing is quite important. A lot of damage, though, being done here already by our player here with the red stalkers. And he is trying his best to claw himself back into the game, and I think he is well there right now. Then again, though, like I said, he doesn't have any detection. A Dark Templar is moving towards the Natural Expo. This is something that is scouted right now as well by one of the probes right there from Creator, so he is ready to start dealing damage. Now, finally, the Robo facility starts up. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of money to go for a lot of Dark Templar, but you don't really need that many either. Dark Templar now being used defensively too, you love to see that. How much damage, though, can this one Dark Templar deal? Observers build quickly, but will they build quickly enough? The Invisible Men, they are dealing a stupid amount of damage. 44 probes have gone down. Only 3 of them remain right here for Creator, but herO has been losing everything on his side of the map too. He finally clicks on the Robo facility. I wouldn't have minded seeing him target firing that one down a little bit sooner. Yeah, the Stalkers are too quick, man. The DTs are trying to chase him down, but they can't really get that much damage. Keep in mind, the win condition in the game of StarCraft 2, as the Robo facility does get cancelled, the win condition in a game of StarCraft 2 is to kill all of your opponent's structures. So I'll be switching over right there to the structures tab in the top left-hand corner, so we can roughly keep track of what's happening. herO does not really have the opportunity here to build a lot of stuff on the other side of the map, but at least he has some minerals remaining. He's got 3 other minerals here. And that is going to be very, very nice, because he does still have... Okay, he does still have... Well, I say that. He does still have a couple of probes. There's one over here that scouted out that proxy Dark Shrine. He can still put down pylons, is what I'm getting at. Creator does not have that luxury, but he can build a 1 gas. Well, now he can't. He could build a 1 gas if he would have sent that probe towards the other side of the map. Now he's got 0 workers remaining, and that may actually be a big problem. Then again, though, those 2 Dark Templar... They're gonna try and hold the door. Yeah. They're gonna try and hold the front door here. Now it's 3 Dark Templar. They're running circles around the Stalkers. Good movement right here by Creator, trying to almost like zone in or zone away these Stalkers, trying to make sure that they get off of these gates while he's busy with 1 DT on the other side of the map to kill everything. This is gonna take forever. There's a lot of structures that still need to be killed, and some of them are positioned all over the map. herO has actually snuck out a robo facility. My god, I didn't even realize he could still build a robo facility here, but that is amazing. If he gets any form of detection out, life is going to be so much better for him. He's still pretending, though, like he will not get detection anytime soon. In the meantime, on the left side of the map, a couple of additional stalkers. Yeah, they're going to try and, well, get rid of the outer structures, I suppose, of Creator, who really doesn't have a whole lot remaining now as far as locations go, right? Like, all of the structures that he's got are right over here, right within that square. Okay. It's difficult, though, man. These DTs have been getting a stupid amount of value, but we have one observer coming up. One observer is always really going to be able to get. And we are getting to the point where the Dark Templar are... Nah, I was going to say, maybe they can face off against 4 Stalkers in a head-on battle. But we obviously still had those Stalkers from the other side of the map. That one Dark Templar, by the way. I mean, a blade is not a very good unit to kill a structure with, I suppose. So, anyways, there's the recall and there's the observer. And as soon as Creator sees it, he taps out of the game. And that brings us to Gresven. That's the final map in this best-of-3 series. Once again, both players opting for a high ground pylon. Okay, so let's see. Game number 1, relatively conventional. Game number 2 started off relatively conventional as well, but then turned into a crazy base race. What do we have right here in game 3? herO sending out a... Ooh, okay, I thought it was a scouting worker right there for a moment, but no, he's sending it towards the left side of the map. Creator skipping the gateways as he wants to go straight into a Nexus first. Now that is greedy, and this could actually backfire because the only reason why I can imagine herO sending a probe in such a weird path, right? Through the left side of the map is because he wants to go for a proxy. Usually if you want to go for an early game proxy, you do it with your second pylon. So the one that you usually build at like 21, 22 supply. I would imagine that herO is going to be planting that one over here in the middle of the map. This could be a problem right here for Creator, especially because he won't really have any tech available for the next couple minutes. I guess he's looking at this series so far. He's like, yo, you've been going a lot of Stalkers. I don't think I really have to be too concerned. If you're not gonna go for hyper aggression in the early game, I should be able to get away with a Nexus first. The dog over here as well. Looking at everything that's going on here, man. He knows that this is not right. So there is a scouting probe right now going across the map for Creator, but sadly for him, he did not spot this location. This can only really be a proxy Stargate. Double Adept starts up right now for herO. He's up to 150 gas. There it is. The dog doesn't need to know. He doesn't... Okay, he does look at the Stargate eventually, but he doesn't really need to know. It's the only thing that makes sense. Scouting worker did go across the map eventually as well, as herO now scouts the opponent's Nexus first. Okay, Creator is going to find out very soon. With the death of this one probe, I would imagine that this is going to be double Adept to start things off. Unless it manages to go home right now in time. Creator's looking around though. He's checked the amount of pylons inside of the opponent's main base. He knows that there should be a second. Usually the second would be a little bit closer to the front. Oh man, you should keep scouting. I think he wants to go in a moment. Okay, we have another proxy. Ooh, as herO decides to double down on the aggression. So herO decides to go proxy Stargate into warp gate research and now straight into a proxy gateway as well. This is a double proxy. Not something we normally see. So the Oracle's coming up. Here's the first 2 Adepts. This may be a reaction to seeing that the opponent decided to go for a Nexus first because he realizes, okay, you probably won't have that many units, but of course this is a little bit dangerous. It's easy to overextend. Creator is seeing this from a mile away, so he's going to be able to start up a couple of those shield batteries as well, and that is going to make the base defense significantly easier. This gateway is going to continue building even without pylon power, but herO is not going to be able to use it as a warp-in location, so he'll have to send in... Okay, he cancels it. Yeah, he'll have to send in another probe to build another pylon. Oracle in the main base, though, and this is the main issue right here for Creator. He did not scout the Stargate in the middle of the map. He doesn't have anything to properly deal with this. Now finally a Stalker comes out. And it's ready to shoot away that one Oracle, but that is already a tremendous amount of damage done. herO is going back home to try and defend the counterattack that is imminent right now from Creator. He does have 2 Nexus, but he could catch up eventually, but I don't think that's really going to be easy here. Maybe making a Void Ray would be fantastic as well, but I think he's just gonna warp in units from those 2 those 2 gateways that he's got. Excellent surround here as well by herO, coming in from the back. Oracles aren't amazing at killing Stalkers, but sometimes you've got the numbers advantage. herO, you could keep shading forward right here with these 4 Adepts. Okay, they're not gonna be able to surround these Stalkers very easily, but I think that this was already enough damage right there for our player in red. He's leading this game quite easily right now. 2 Oracles. Well, they are tasked once again with another mineral line. And if they can manage to kill another bunch of probes, I think that is basically all she wrote right here for Creator. Creator is not able to shoot away all of these ground units, and now he's got nothing to really properly deal with these Oracles either. Not the best targeting right there from herO. He's just gonna idle them over here instead, and he is destroying every single one of the workers here on the low ground. Only 2 probes remain for Creator. One of them is in the main base. I think one of them is in the other side of the map as well. That means that Creator needs to win with the units that he's got here right now, and I don't think it's enough. Nah. I don't think it's enough. That should basically be GG. We've got 6 Stalkers versus 4, but there's gonna be more on the back of this. herO decides to go for a Robo Facility, which honestly is a little unnecessary. He decides to pull the boys. I mean, Creator's trying to make the best of it. There's the surrounding Stalker warp in as well. Creator doing a very good job with the final units that he's got, but I don't think he's ever gonna be able to win this game now. He's just microing his heart out. But in the end, it's herO who obtains the victory 2-1.